Hey everyone, this is Jerry with San Pedro Mastery. Today is the first episode of a new mini-series in which I will use LED lighting to grow San Pedro cactus and relatives. I will be starting some new varieties of cacti from seeds and also carry on growing some older seedlings. And we'll take a close look at the Farmer SF4000 full spectrum LED grow light and what it can achieve. I get a lot of requests for videos, and one of the most common ones is to do some videos on LED lighting. So when Spider Farmer contacted me to do a review of their latest grow light, I was over the moon, especially since I was already familiar with the brand and some of their products. My previous experience with LED lighting had not been good. I bought one of these LED tubes from Philips, which is a replacement for fluorescent T5, and the seedlings didn't look as healthy as the others I was growing with regular T5s. To top it all, the lamp died after a few months. So let me tell you, I'm glad I'd replaced only one of my T5 tubes and not all of them, as that would have been a lot of money down the drain. Recently, I've been documenting myself about LED grow lights. If you're thinking about getting one of those cheap grow lamps that you can find on Amazon or AliExpress, please don't. From what I've seen on various reviews, most of the sellers completely lie about the specs. The wattage, the ppf, the power readings are often pulled out of thin air. Not to mention some lamps have inefficient spectrums for plants, with too much blue light and not enough red light. And there's even such a thing as counterfeit Samsung diodes. There's just so many lies and so much bad quality out there. So my recommendation would be to spend a little bit more money and buy a quality product, such as the Spider Farmer Grow Light. They have 3 models available. The cheapest and smallest one is the SF1000. The SF2000 is double the size from the 1000, and the SF4000 is again double the size from the 2000. In this video, I will be showing you the SF4000, their biggest and most powerful model, and letting you know what I think. The lamp came very well protected in this specially made box. I would recommend that you do not throw the box away, as it can be very useful to protect the lamp if you ever have to move it or ship it. One cool thing is that the lamp comes with all you need to hang it, so you won't need to buy anything. The build quality of the lamp is nothing short of fantastic. It's something you realize when you first hold it in your hands. It's very heavy and feels solid. It certainly inspires confidence. Like I mentioned before, reliability is poor with the cheaper brands. But this is not the case with Spider Farmer, thanks to the use of top quality components. The Meanwhile drivers are considered to be the best and most reliable LED drivers on the market, with a very low failure rate. The diodes are latest generation Samsung LM301B, which illuminate a larger area and give you more light for less watts. They also give out a broad spectrum white light that looks very natural and allows you to see the plants well, so that you can detect any issue with them. I would imagine that with those older generation LED lamps, where the light comes out purple, it must be harder to monitor the plant's health. The thick aluminum plate works as a heat sink to dissipate the heat, which means there is no need for a noisy, energy-wasting fan like with other brands. One thing I really like about this lamp is that it's got a dimmer. You can dim it all the way down to 5%. And those percentages are quite accurate. If you place the mark on 50%, it will reduce the light output by half. The RJ11 connections next to it are for daisy chaining this lamp to other identical lamps. After connecting the cable, which is included, you make the adjustment on this knob, and it will also control the other units. The amount of light that comes out of this lamp at max power is mind-blowing, enough to fry your cacti if they are too close. It's something that doesn't show up well in the video, but you can take my word for it. It generates a phenomenal amount of light. That means you can perfectly grow adult cacti with this lamp. And not even at the maximum setting, as that may prove to be way too much. Now the big question is, how well does it work for cacti seedlings? From what I've read, it sounds like a quality full spectrum LED lamp, like this one from Spider Farmer, will do the job just fine. But can it compare with fluorescent T5 tubes, which are a reference for growing cacti seedlings? Well, this I don't know yet. This is something we will find out in the next episodes of this mini-series. In any case, this grow light sounds like it's ideal for people who want to grow cacti indoors from seeds to adult. Obviously, you should dim it heavily for seedlings. And depending on how many plants you have, this lamp may be too big. In which case, I recommend you visit Spider Farmer's website to check the smaller models. The SF2000 will be ideal for a surface half this size, and the SF1000 for a surface a quarter of this size. I have placed the lamp in front of a southeast facing window. In the winter, the sun comes in until about noon, which means I can switch off the lamp in the morning. Of course, in winter there's also a lot of cloudy days, in which case the lamp will be on all day. The grow light is in my living room, where I spend most of my time, and in the winter is the only room that I heat in the apartment. I live somewhere warm, so it never gets to be really cold in my apartment without heating. Having the grow light in my living room means the heat from the lamp and from the heating mats all contribute to warming up the room, which allows me to turn down a bit the house heating. So by placing the lamp in my living room, I save money in two different ways. I can switch off the lamp when the sun hits the plants, and the heat from the lamp and mats contribute to heating my living room. Of course, having a grow light in your living room has its drawbacks. It can create nuisance in the form of fan noise and bright lights. Here the fan won't be an issue, as there isn't one. As for the bright light, it's unpleasant to see one in the corner of your eye, and that can be quite damaging to your eyesight. Which is why I have designed some panels to enclose the grow area. Not only do they block the light from reaching me, but they also reflect the light back onto the plants. These were really easy to build. The timber is held together by a combination of wood glue and screws. Then, the reflective material is stapled on top of it. And as you can see, the panels come with their own legs. If it's a sunny morning and I want to let the sun in, I can just remove the two panels that are blocking the window. Or if I need to access a tray that is on the other side, I can just remove another panel at the back. It's a fully modular system, very versatile. And in the evening, with all the panels in place, the light bounces off the ceiling, and that gives a very pleasant ambient light in the whole room, which means I can just turn off my other lamp. The choice of reflective material is very important. Do not use aluminum foil, as it only reflects about 50% of the light and it creases, which can create hot spots where the light is concentrated and can burn the plants. A better solution is to use a white surface. Either matte white or shiny white, it makes no difference. But the best of the best when it comes to light reflection is diamond mylar. Not the regular silver mylar, which is smooth, but this one with a diamond pattern. I got a small roll of this for €20, that's about $20, and it's well worth the buy. As you can see, the panel at the back is made of various strips of diamond mylar, because I came to the end of the roll and I had to use the offcuts. This wall panel, by the way, does not have legs like the others. It is hung from one of the holes that I drilled in the wall. When I turn the lamp on, there is a lot of light that goes to the sides. You can see it on the wall, reaching up to about the same height as the lamp itself. So I decided to make panels that are just a bit higher than that, in case I ever want to raise the lamp a touch more. Although now, at 80 centimeters from the soil level, it's probably high enough. That's 32 inches. At this height, the light already illuminates a fairly large surface. The grow area is 180 centimeters by 148 centimeters. In inches, that's 71 by 58. So the side that runs along the window is 13 inches longer than the side that runs along the wall. The lamp is also rectangular. It's 65 by 54 centimeters or 26 by 21 inches. So naturally, I also positioned it so that its length runs parallel to the window. The grow surface consists of two cheap foldable garden tables that I have joined together. On top of them, we have 4 heating mats, each of them with a power consumption of 50 watts. They don't cover perfectly the area. There are some gaps in between. And I hesitate to add one more mat or maybe two. I'm not sure if it's possible to overlap them. My gut feeling tells me it's a bad idea, safety-wise. I don't want to take risks, in case that makes the mats overheat. If you know whether or not they can be overlapped, please share that in the comments section, and this is something I would like to find out. Now let's talk about the grow light and how it is held in place. Like I mentioned earlier, it comes with its own hanging kit, and that's the one I used. Here at one end it is attached to the wall, and I recommend you use heavy duty hanging screws on the wall, as this lamp weighs a lot. I drilled the 2 holes so that the position of the lamp can be adjusted sideways. As for the other end, well, I did not want to drill my ceiling, so I hung the lamp on this white metal structure, which I found in the street. With COVID, there has been quite a few shops closing, and one of them decided to throw away a brand new shelving system, out of which I just picked up this piece. It is perfect for the job, with an adjustable arm at the top. It's very well built. It extends along the floor, which means the weight of the lamp cannot possibly make the structure tilt over. As you guys already know from my previous videos, I love to reuse stuff. It's good for my wallet, and it's good for the planet. Plus, I like the way this thing looks. Now if you want to put your cacti in a grow tent, then you won't have to worry about drilling holes. You can just hang the lamp from the existing frame of the tent, done in less than 5 minutes. I decided not to use a grow tent because I don't have one of such a large size. I would need to buy one. And anyway, I would prefer not to have such a huge black box in my living room. It would block too much of the light and make the room darker, which is not the case with my homemade setup. But also, grow tents can get extremely humid, unless of course you install an air extractor fan system. If you are growing cacti seedlings that are less than 8 to 10 months old, then humidity won't be a problem as they can cope with it. But after that, too much humidity can be an issue. You can see that here I am growing some older seedlings, and those I prefer to have them in the open as opposed to in a grow tent. Like this, the humidity can dissipate. Those trays, still covered up in film, have just been started from seeds, and inside, the plants will have the high humidity climate they need. On the other hand, the trays that are opened have got plants in there that are 10 months old or older, and these will benefit from a lower humidity. Could you still grow these older seedlings or even adult cacti inside a grow tent or a small greenhouse inside your house? Yes, you could, but you would have to watch out from too much humidity. It is not something you need to measure. You will know there's too much humidity from the droplets of water. In which case, you should at the very least partially unzip your grow tent or set up an air extractor fan system, which is not expensive. But like I mentioned before, this is not something you will have to worry about as long as you have them enclosed in saran wrap, which can be up to 6 to 10 months. The light is the strongest just underneath the lamp. It is several times as strong as the light at the edges. This is why I place the oldest plant in the center of the table, as they are the ones needing a stronger light. And this is also why I place the younger seedlings more on the sides, where the light is more diluted. Now you might wonder what is the right setting on the dimmer to grow cacti seedlings. I will be using this lux meter to help me. As long as your LED light gives out a white light and not a purple light, then you won't need a super expensive power meter to measure the light. A lux meter will be more than enough. This is a Doctor meter LX1330B, and it only costs about €32 on Amazon. It is useful, although if you don't have one, you can also find the perfect setting through trial and error. You see how the plants react to the light, and then you adjust the dimmer accordingly. In order to find the right setting on the dimmer knob, I will base myself on this tray of seeds. It is the one that is the furthest away from the center of the light, on the edge of the grow area, but it must receive enough light for germination to occur. I turn on the lux meter by pressing power, and then I click on range twice until times 10 appears on the screen. To start with, I've positioned the dimmer knob at 25%. That means the lamp will only produce a quarter of the light it can make. That also means that the energy consumption will be about a quarter of what it would be at max power, which is 450 watts. So, with the dimmer knob at 25%, here at the corner that is the closest to the lamp, I have a reading close to 600, which is 6000 lux. You need to add a 0. If I try the other corner of the tray, which is the furthest from the lamp, the reading is reduced by half. So there is clearly a quick loss of light intensity as you get away from the lamp. In fact, if I measure just below the center of the lamp, the reading is about 1200, which is 12,000 lux. I want the reading at this furthest corner to be in the region of 500 or 5000 lux, which is the light my plants would receive under a single fluorescent T5 tube. Bear in mind these readings have been taken with one of the reflective panels removed. The sensor does get some light reflected from the wall panel, but not from the side panel. So let's put the side panel back on, and now you will see the reading goes up substantially. You should only adjust the dimmer when all the reflective panels are in place, as those panels can make a huge difference. It won't make that much difference in the center of the grow, where the light is so concentrated. But on the edges, it can double the readings. It's crazy how efficient that diamond miler is. So, with the reflective panels in place, I adjust the dimmer until the readings at the furthest edges of my grow are similar to what they would get under a fluorescent T5 tube. I may need to adjust again the dimmer later on when the baby plants come to life. If they turn red, then I can turn down the dimmer a notch. If on the contrary they etiolate, then I may need to turn it up. This video is already long enough, so I will only give you a very quick overview of what I am growing. We have 3 trays of Pachanoi or San Pedro and 1 big tray of Bridgesii or Bolivian Torch. Here in the center, there is mutant Pachanoi which I have just spotted last week. It is grown from the seeds that I produced myself, and this one decided to grow mutant. We will follow how it evolves over time. In the same pot, there is a variegated Icaro-DNA Peruvian Torch. At the end, on the left and right, you will recognize the small containers which were recently the subject of a mini-series on this channel. There are also some small containers that are closed. These are new ones, containing seeds that I have produced this year. I only sown those a couple of days ago. In them you have a number of new crosses between Pachanois, including some monstros. You also have some interesting new hybrids, such as Pachanoi crossed with Bridgesii, Terskeki, and Knutianus. I have plenty of new, exclusive seeds available this year. If you are interested in buying some, please send me an email and I will reply with info, photos, and prices. You will find my email in the description of this video. I will also make it appear now on the screen. It's sanpedromastery@protonmail.com. Among those containers, there are also some seeds from Peru that were kindly given to me by my good friend Suriel. We'll be taking a closer look at all of this next month in the second part of this mini-series. Hopefully by then they will have all germinated. As for these 3 large enclosed trays, they contain new, larger batches of Pachanoi and Bridgesii. That one over there has bumps, and I will tell you why in the next episode of this series. Now is a good time of the year to start growing cacti from seeds, in my opinion, as they seem to grow better under light during the first few months of their lives. And when spring comes, they will have gained quite some size and strength, and will carry on growing really well under the sun. By the way, when these containers are exposed to the sunlight in the morning, the sun warms up the air inside of them considerably. It works like a greenhouse and can reach really high temperatures. To filter the sunlight and reduce the temperature, I place some old rags on top of them. So every morning when there is sun, I have to remove 2 panels to let the sun in, and place some fabric on top of the enclosed containers. When the sun goes away at midday, then I put the panels back into place and I remove the rags. If that sounds like too much hassle for you, or if you're not at home during the day, then you can just leave the reflective panels surrounding your grow all the time. And in that case, it doesn't have to be in front of a window, and you could even consider putting your plants inside the grow tent. The grow tent has the advantage of having a metal frame that you can hang the lamp from, as well as reflective sides all around. If you want to buy a grow tent, you can buy one from Spider Farmer as well. They make their own. The links are in the description below. The conclusion of this video is that if you want to buy an LED lamp, do not buy a cheaper one on Amazon. Save up a bit of money and get yourself a nice quality unit that will give you much better performance and reliability. If you're interested in buying a Spider Farmer SF4000, please check the link in the video description. Or if the 4000 is too big for your needs or out of your budget, then I suggest you go for a smaller Spider Farmer model, either the SF1000 or 2000. I find their prices to be very reasonable and the build quality is top-notch. This said, bear in mind LED lamps are not for everyone. If you only need to grow cacti from seed during the colder month until spring when you will expose them to the sun, then a fluorescent T5 tube will work just as well and cost you less. However, if you also want to carry on growing the plants under artificial lights when they are older, then a LED lamp is the better choice. In future videos, I'll be reporting on how well the plants are growing under the Spider Farmer 4000, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe and tick the little bell so that you get informed of my future videos. Thanks for watching and see you again very soon.